Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Dawn Melanie with another episode of Managing Self, where I plan on doing the same thing that I plan on doing every episode, and that is sharing with you, the listeners, how I manage myself. Not only with multiple sclerosis, which I've been battling now for over 20 years, but with anything in life. It just so happens that, the show is called Managing Self, and I speak of my stories and my, how multiple sclerosis affects me. And it's not just, okay, all right, let me get this back together here. What I want to say here. We all have to manage ourselves, and multiple sclerosis has been a major element of who I am. Well, it's a part of me. I'm not just multiple sclerosis. It is an element of something that makes up who I am, and me dealing with it is who I am. I mean, just the everyday, ability to get up, be positive, have a smile on my face, not ignore, but to not be consumed by any negative manifestations of the disease. For me to be positive and move on and think higher than that, hopefully that'll show me, hopefully that light that I shine outward, people will see, hopefully encourage them, and if they let me know that I've done well, also it helps me because so many times we talk about I've talked about this before. We talk about my MS, my multiple sclerosis. Yes, hi, I'm Dawn Melanie, yada, yada, yada. I've been battling multiple sclerosis now for over 20 years plus, yada, yada, yada. Oh, I had this, that, my struggles. But my successes, my struggles, what have you, they're all a part of me. I don't want to claim, hey, I won a bodybuilding fitness championship with multiple sclerosis. I can. Is it true? Yes. But at the same time, I think there's more weight to it if I tell you, the times when I had some really awful experience on stage because of my multiple sclerosis. I'm not celebrating that multiple sclerosis beat me during those times, but I'm celebrating that I got through it, and it wasn't easy. I know everybody's story is different, and they're all hard. So that's why I this show particularly, I want to start off just by that, saying, hey, look, it's not easy, but we do what we can do when we can, if we can, and we should all be proud of that. Just that, before I even get into any encouraging words of, how I, use fitness to be a better me, I want everyone out there to think about that and to know that, we are all special. There's only one of us for a reason, hopefully. Hopefully there's no clones of us out there, but as of this date, I believe it's July 2nd, 2019, there's only one Dawn Melanie. And that is special. And my successes, they're mine. Heck yeah, they're mine. I celebrate them. I'm proud of them. My challenges or my struggles, they're mine. And I don't celebrate, I'm like, hey, yeah, man, I can't see, or I have drop foot this week. But what I do celebrate is, yes, I've lost my vision. Yes, I've lost my hearing. Yes, I couldn't walk. Yes, I've had difficulties talking, the simplest of motor skills. Yes, I've had difficulties with all of those. But I was positive. I was resilient. And I got through it. And I managed myself. And then, okay, well, how'd you do that? How'd you manage yourself? Well, I did what I could do. Which would I know? If I know something like, okay, I know being active, my muscles are going to atrophy, if at all, less. So things like that, just the movement is going to be easier for me to keep moving than if I just stop and not do anything. A sedentary state. So the thing is, well, it wasn't magic. There's nothing in life that just happens by magic. And overcoming any struggles that I've had with multiple sclerosis is probably an example of that. Well, I think, well, that's the name of the show, but that's a prime example of my life, multiple sclerosis. I've had some challenges in my life, but this one, the way I handle it and overcome it, I think it's key because I can apply the same principles or rules or how I handle things to every aspect of my life. And I more look at it, I'm like going, hey, life is like MS. It's unpredictable. It'll knock you off your feet. Literally knock you off your feet. You have just unexpectedly. So all I know that I've done and I continue to do. I'm like, I guess I just jumped into this week's program head on. But one thing I know that I do is just be prepared for it as best as I can. And when I say be prepared, I'm not going to know if I'm going to lose my vision on any date. But I know that I can do things to minimize the likelihood of that every day. I'm sitting in my office right now, and I want to be outside, and I'm kind of feeling up to it, and I'm like, I'm not feeling good, and the heat's probably going to make things worse for me, so why don't I pass on that? I know what's best for me. So that honesty with myself is, yes, I have multiple sclerosis. Okay, so basically I'm saying is, whether or not I have multiple sclerosis or anything else, challenges. I do have challenges. We all have challenges. We should not let those challenges defeat us. We're going to have challenges every day. So what I'm trying to say is basically, whether it's multiple sclerosis that I have or anything else, common cold, I have challenges. Medical challenges, physical challenges, emotional challenges, relationship issues. I have challenges. We all have challenges. And obviously life is, fill in the blank, whatever the hell. Life is. We all have challenges. I know I do. And what's important is recognize it. Don't embrace them and say like, that is me. We're gonna be handed challenges, and we're gonna be defeated. We're not going to win every battle, every war. We're going to be defeated time to time, personally. But what's important is, no matter how many defeats we get, that we aren't defeated, and that's the difference. And I believe it's a Maya Angelou quote that I'm not sure of, but I'll give her credit because I more or less paraphrase it, I'm sure. So it's important that we all remember that we're going to have defeats. Well, we shouldn't let that defeat us. And it starts with mindset. I know this starts with our thoughts. Our thoughts are later evolve into our actions, or develop into our actions that we take. Whether or not we do things, that starts with our thoughts, whether we know it or not, whether it's subconscious or very intent on it. Our thoughts lead to actions, repeated actions, things that we do more than not. Repetition of actions or non-actions leads to our character, or lack thereof. I believe Aristotle said that, we're probably familiar with it. I've said it before. Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. Notice I said what we repeatedly do. So not say, but what we do. And yes, I do know that everyone doesn't agree that Aristotle said that. Another philosopher, I believe, giving credit, I think it's William Durant, but whatever. What's important is what it means. And, let's be grown about it and understand what that is kind of leading us to think about. Doing an act one time is going to define you. So, me taking one dose of any medicine the FDA has approved for treatment of multiple sclerosis probably ain't going to cure me. It probably is going to get all my symptoms away. It may for a moment in time, but a cure? I don't believe so. It's possible. Probable. I doubt it. Nonetheless, if there is a treatment out there that we know that slows progression of MS, and I don't think it is prescribed, the frequency, I don't think I can expect it to do what it's been proven to do, or at least proven in lines with the reported efficacy rate. So, if I say take it every 3 days and I take it once every month, then how can I expect to get results of the control group or whomever was tested to get those efficacy rates of the medication? So, everything's not just like, okay, MS drug and things like that, but that's an example. Anything we do for success, whether it be I don't know, passing an exam or certification, anything like that, it's not gonna be, I can't go to school one time, go 9th grade maybe once, maybe 3 days I'll be a 11th grader, and 12th grade was fun, so I'm a senior in high school for a week. You gotta want a degree saying I graduated high school. Likewise for undergrad and for my graduate school. No. Those are concrete, tangible items. Like, okay, I got my degree, but I mean that whole character thing. People can say that they're X, Y, and Z, and they think that's their character. But I agree with whomever said it first. I agree with the belief that a one-time act does not define your character. And understanding this is how this relates to managing myself with MS, because I know that I can't say that I'm anything without really putting in the effort and doing it repeatedly, almost on autopilot. That's going to be me. That's my character. Whatever I do on autopilot, that's my character. If I do things and I don't really even know what I just do or why did I just do that, it's probably because I do it so habitually that that's just what I do. That's my character, just like that. So, I go, well, that's kind of explains that. You are what you do. People try to deny it. That's not me. You are what you do. Not once, not twice, but what you do repeatedly, that defines our character. Now, as far as MS, if I don't take the prescribed medication as prescribed, then I can't say that I'm doing my part on trying to keep MS at bay. Any complications like that minimized. So that's how I manage myself. I look, like I said, MS is one layer or issue of my life, but so much of it I just can apply the concepts of managing this disease, managing this problem, managing this challenge, facing up to this challenge, overcoming this challenge, so that I can live, and not just live, but so that I can strive and just be better than I could have ever thought of. And with that being said, I guess I'm kind of feeling it now, but with that being said, this is why I celebrate those struggles, because I'm like, well, if I can have those struggles and when I overcome them, I'm celebrating that. It was challenging, but it was a defeat, and maybe I did lose my vision or something. It was a defeat, yeah, but I wasn't defeated, and so yeah, I celebrate. And remember, I said that I wasn't so celebratory in nature, but I did say also, I celebrate. I choose to celebrate the struggles as well as the successes. And I believe the most operative word in that statement is I choose. I choose to celebrate. Again, something not so happy or favorable may occur, and yet I say I celebrate it. Well, that's it's based on a mindset, but in reality, I think it's important to pay attention to the words that I use. I choose to celebrate. I'm more likely to say I choose to celebrate than I choose to be down or be befuddled by anything that occurs. That's, I think, that's a lot of who I am. Is I'm aware of the choices I make. I don't believe things just happen. Well, of course, we all know MS, it can happen, but how we react to it, that's most important. We don't want to, I don't want to let isolated incidents or things that are beyond my control to control me. That's why I choose to celebrate as opposed to be stuck in a rut. And, I choose to move on. Like I said, that word right there, choose, is powerful, as well as because that's me. I'm in control. I know that it's critical that I watch my words. People oftentimes throw words around and say, I didn't mean that. And that's when I go, well, slow down and say what you mean and mean what you say. Because over my 46.5 years of life, I've come to appreciate more than ever to watch my words. Watch the words that I choose. Watch the words that I allow come out of my mouth, because those words eventually become, my character. Now, actually, I guess I need to go back just a little bit. Words spoken generally lead to actions. We just don't do things happenstance. We just go, I did that. No. It all starts in our minds, our thoughts, then our words. And once we say it, it's almost like pulling a trigger to a gun, like bam. That gun ain't going to shoot nobody. Pardon me. That gun isn't going to shoot anyone just because you load it with bullets. It's not. You can even, they call it cock it or prepare for the firearm to disarm. It's not going to happen unless you pull the trigger. And that's what I mean when we speak the words. Speak the words, and that we let that thought transpire to words, and that transpires to actions, whether we want to admit it or not. And if that's repeated habit or behavior, ultimately, those actions are going to lead to our character. So, I've learned, like I said, I'm talking about multiple sclerosis and how I manage it, but I know that so much of how I manage my multiple sclerosis is my attitude towards it, and me taking responsibility for it, or responsibility for what I can do, and not say, well, I can't do anything, because some things I can do. So I encourage everybody to take responsibility for their actions, their words, their act, just everything. It's tough to admit, but we ultimately have the hand in our destiny, whether we believe it or not. And with that being said, let's all open our eyes. We have a choice. That's like my new theme or so, I guess, in 2019 is choice. Sometimes we have tough choices we don't want to make, we have to make, or we don't even know we exist. Like that's like it's something that's outstanding. Like kind of like going, oh, I have to like decide on that or make a choice. That's going to occur in everything in life. I know it has for me. And again, I own up, or I own it. I take responsibility for the choices that I make. It's been like that all my life. You know, I tell people I consider myself rather calculated. However, I know that doesn't always it don't mean shit if you don't. Hell, look at MS. I don't know if I did X, Y, and Z to cause MS or make me have a greater likelihood to have MS at age 25. I don't know, but either way, my mindset of how I was going to deal with MS forever, that was on me, and I had to make a choice. And I knew my choices had to be given, I don't say be calculated, but given thought and consideration before, choosing something to do. You can go down any road, like everything in life, like every choice in life, it can lead to either two things. It can lead to prosperity, or your choices can lead to dereliction. Okay, so this is probably going to sound totally off-putting, but earlier this week I was talking to my sister, and she was telling me about her trip to Disney World with her best friend, many, many years, and the friend repeatedly asked her, or shall I say offered her snacks, Cheetos, chocolate bars, ice cream, like kind of like over and over and over again. And my sister didn't want to seem rude, so she reminds me of myself in this act, but she found it hard to just tell her that I don't snack like that. And she would tell her, she's like, hey, you want an apple pie from McDonald's? She's like, I don't snack like that. And I was like, yeah, she probably thought you were rude, but the thing is, you have to sometimes tell people what you don't want or what you don't do, and how they receive it is up to them. And I laughed at her. I said, I go through the same thing sometimes as far as eating. People think, well, you don't eat this. I'm like, well, I don't eat that. Or as my sister says, I don't snack like that. So before I go any further, I guess I just want to say that also, that's kind of how I feel right now. Right now, I am. You guys know I'm pretty tough. Well, at least I think I am. But I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm very tired. I'm tired. Not so much physically, but I guess physically I'm tired. But emotionally, I've been fighting. I'm tired. Emotionally, spiritually. My spiritual faith is keeping me resilient. But I know that I can't do those things that I know will not lead to any prosperity. And like I said earlier, lead to my dereliction. So talking to my sister about snacking, Dawn Melanie figured out, hey, that's it. That's new hashtag. I don't snack like that. She just laughed at me, and I laughed as well. But I was like going, don't you get it? I don't snack like that. It tells people that's not my choice. I'm not down with that. I am not willing to do that. Don't try to force that upon me. Kind of a polite way to just say no. I don't snack like that. Then we went on talking frankly about, why don't we snack like that, eating the pies and just a bunch of junk food all the time. Because, well, there's ramifications of that. You get indigestion. That's probably the immediate effects. Gas, bloating. We all know eventually it may lead to obesity, which causes us a slew of health problems, which we don't need on top of our MS or any other thing. But, high blood pressure, diabetes, all those things are affected by eating habits. So that's one thing we know. And so to be strong enough to say, I don't snack like that, kind of just let your stance be known. Simple as that. So as I close this week's episode of Managing Self, I want to encourage everybody out there to recognize that they have emotions, they have values, they have beliefs, and they're theirs. I want to encourage you all to own them, embrace them, develop them, and further them. If it is likely to make you a better you, help to manage your MS, help to do whatever it is in life that is positive. But also want you to recognize that just like if you don't digest things, we just like food. We eat food, we eat it, our body does all that digestion stuff and works with it. Take the nutrients from it and excrete the stuff that we don't need. It's a whole process. And if that doesn't happen, what happens is, if it gets stuck up in our system, we become constipated. And it's interesting because there's this new term out there. Well, I won't say new, but there's a term that I just recently heard about. It's called being emotionally constipated. And I was like, wow, emotionally constipated. Basically, it's when an adult is struggling to understand that they're actually allowed to feel a certain way, to have an emotion. It's okay to feel like X. So if someone's struggling to just know that it's okay to feel a certain way, and they may have a tendency to put their own emotions on trial, like every time a certain situation occurs or something like that, and they're feeling uncomfortable, that will lead to their emotional constipation. So it's going to lead to them not being able to thrive. They can live their life day to day, but they won't thrive and be healthy individuals. So, me with MS or anything, I need to make sure I don't keep all that in because it will affect my MS. And that's why I'm encouraging everybody out there to understand what is important to you. Do what is good, that that's good for you, do it. And if it's not good for you, don't do it. Tell somebody, hey, I don't snack like that. And they say, why? I say, because I don't want to be emotionally constipated. or I don't want to be constipated. But, that's the reason why you can should be able to freely tell them, you don't snack like that, because you don't want to be emotionally constipated or constipated. So you know your values, your beliefs, your truths. And I encourage you all to follow through with them and stand behind them. I hope you join me next week for Managing Self. Until then, I pray that you all have a good week.